What's going on, everybody? Doc, Average Gamer Guys, back yet again. Some more Escape from Tarkov action. And bringing you a rare Sunday video. The news just could not wait. I wanted to get this out. So hopefully this is helpful for you. We're talking about a whole lot of stuff today when it comes to new Tarkov news. We're going to talk about the daily task update and some little bit more information now that we've had our about 24 hours or so with our hands on it, which is really awesome. We're going to talk a little bit of stuff from the podcast that we heard that went on Friday, basically while the update was going on with Nikita and a couple of other community members from Escape from Tarkov. And we'll also talk about a little screenshot that got teased early Saturday for what we're anticipating as part of the new Lighthouse location. So we got a lot to chat about. We're going to jump into it. Hopefully this video is helpful for you and gets you up to date on the news. If you're not, we got a lot to chat. Let's get into it. So we're going to jump around here a little bit. And I'm going to try to intermix some things as we get going. But the first thing I want to spend a little bit of time talking about is the daily task update. So update went live the other day, and on Friday, about Friday evening for most, at least in EST time, and we got our chance to get our hands on what is now daily tasks. So with everything that we've seen from BSG, this is the first iteration of these. So let's just quickly cover kind of the highlights, and then let's jump into, and we'll talk a little bit more about specifics now that we've had our hands on it. So if you're not familiar, update went live. Operational tasks is what they're called. They're dailies, essentially. And they're unique for everybody. So every account is going to get them. They're going to be unique. You're going to have the opportunity to jump in. And basically, it's a 24-hour timer from when you log in to click on it for when that is going to be available. In the podcast, they talked about also in the future state, they're going to have different iterations of these, maybe different timelines. Nikita talked specifically about weekly tasks, as well as more like community-based type tasks. Now, that's not necessarily saying that you'll have to go in with folks and team up in raid, but more think of it along the line of like bear versus USEC type tasks. And bears will have to kill so many USEC PMCs, and it'll be a collective total. We've seen that in some other games. I think that'll be a unique challenge, and maybe some unique weeklies that'll come, and then rewards. They'll kind of probably have to figure that system out. You'll certainly have to probably participate in that task, probably put some progress forward in order to get rewarded for it. But that would be a unique way to continue to evolve these. But we have the first iteration, 24 hours dailies. You're going to get them from every trader, and it's going to be different. That's the interesting part about this is that the rewards are going to be unique per each account. Now, I think what we're going to end up seeing as we get this first iteration going is that we're going to see some of the similar tasks. They talked a lot. It's about killing players, killing PMCs, surviving locations, pulling found and raid items out. I'll share what my first 3 daily tasks were, and mine are about to roll over in about an hour as of the recording of this. So they talked about that they're going to increase the detail, how these things go on, but this is really, really cool. Operational tasks, again, there are different traders. I'm just going to go through this limited time frame for, again, all the ones I've seen have been 24 hours up to this point. And then you have a special icon. I will show you the UI change. There was some UI change with the actual tasks in game, which is I like and I don't like, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But you will be able to see those. So again, large additional conditions and combinations. It's interesting because the difficulty of these objectives will increase with character level. They also will increase as you go. They will increase as you're successful with the daily tasks. The reverse is also true. So if you go in and you fail them, or you're unable to complete them, this is still kind of a gray line here. They are going to, potentially get a little bit easier in order to find like a right balance for your play style and how well you are, just to align so that they're not super difficult and they're not super easy. I will tell you, my first couple were not too bad, but there was a little bit of a challenge with it. It definitely took some strategy to get a few of them done. Now I had like one survive location. That's pretty easy, but I think the most difficult one I had was to kill 8 scavs from more than 50 meters away, which again isn't the most difficult task, but certainly something that you have to plan for, you have to strategize a little bit about. All right, so with all those things said, and outside of the patch notes that we got, I thought it'd be good. Let's jump in. Let's talk about the UI, and let's talk about where you can find these and what you got yourself getting into. Now, this is a UI change for both active and operational tasks. Now at the top, you have your active tasks, which are your long-running tasks, consistent, no time frame setup. That's your traditional tasks and quests that we're used to. You also now have a secondary tab called operational tasks, which will show you basically exactly the 3 or couple that you have active, how much time is remaining, and your progress bar. Going back to this really quick, I like this. I think it's simplified some things. Here's what I don't like. The progress bar is great if you know what the task is. I think this is a little deceiving to a certain extent, though, for some of these tasks that have multiple different items underneath them. And I do kind of like the old system just a little bit better. The problem with the old system was it would only show you the top line completion, so you had to go in and still click on the task. So it's kind of a mix right now. If you're kind of a percent completion type person and like to see that visual, you'll probably like this UI change. For some of us, we may not like it. I'm still kind of up in the air about it. The nice part is it is easy to check on some of the tasks that do have, like for instance, just a single parameter that you need to complete. So that is nice. We'll see how it goes as like we get into the wipe and there's, all of the tasks going and, multiple things going on. It's going to be kind of interesting. But let me know what you think in the comments below about the new UI. So operational tasks, here's pretty cool. Again, these are all going to be pretty simple for the most part. Not a whole lot of crazy things to go. Again, it's going to focus on kills, extractions, and probably items. And that's really where we're going to be. The only one that I have not completed and I'm going to try to do before my hour runs out is going to be get this 1G phone. Here is the biggest thing that I have noticed. And I'll have a couple of screenshots hopefully as we go through this. The EXP gain and the money, while the item rewards I have not seen to be very fantastic, this is a major sum of cash, and this is a major sum of experience. Out of the 3 quests I had, I completed 2. Total. I have almost 150k in experience, and I, right now, am level 48. This literally actually got me to level 48 completing those 2 quests, which is just huge. So I personally think that this is going to adjust. But we're talking about 50k of 250 that I need to get to level 49. If you are sitting there right now and maybe you got out of Tarkov a little bit and you're in an upper bracket of level and you're like, I didn't really want to grind to 62 or just going into labs and fighting raiders to try to get 10k experience raids is not something that I want to do. You have a way to do it now. I really genuinely believe that this is going to adjust. I think there's some kind of formula behind this experience gain for these tasks, because I know playing with Sloth, he was about level 14, and I think he was getting about 4 to 5k, maybe 6k experience for his tasks. So I believe it's probably based on your level, and there's some kind of algorithm to pump out this number, but 50k experience is absolutely huge, and it's awesome. It is awesome. I hope it doesn't change. This feels like the right amount, but what I think you're going to end up finding is that this may propel people a little bit too quickly, especially at the beginning of a wipe. That's where I think it needs to be tailored down a little bit, because you're going to have a whole bunch of other tasks. They certainly want to, try to extend that early game. And these early tasks are going to be great for some money and some, just some items that you can sell. But the experience is something that they're going to have to tweak. Right now, huge fan of it. So again, if you are sitting there and you're watching this and you're like, I don't really know, I'm not really interested in trying to grind, you don't really have to grind. You have to play daily, you have to do some tasks. But honestly, you could do most of your tasks that I've seen so far in probably a handful of raids. So jump in, get them, see what your experience. I have seen again that it is definitely divergent based on your level and probably the experience that you have up to that point. But these are fantastic rewards, and I can't highlight 182,000 rubles. If you have trouble making money, you now have a good option, I think, in these operational tasks to go and hopefully do some things and make some money through these. So that's fantastic. I can't say that enough. That's probably the biggest takeaway that I have. And that's really nice. It's gonna make the grind feel like a lot less of a grind. Like, let's just look. I mean, so we don't get any experience for that, but think about this. This is kind of a more end game-ish task. 118,000 rubles, which is solid. What is clearing? 84,000 experience for this. This is a very difficult task, taking multiple raids, and we're getting 2/3 of this experience from a daily task from going to find a 1G phone. I don't think I need to say much more. I'm pumped for it. Don't change it, Nikita. BSG, leave it like it is for the rest of the wipe, and maybe tailor it a little bit as you get into the next one. I did just quickly want to show, I can't show this here, maybe I'll have a screenshot. When you do have a daily task available for a trader, or when it resets, there's going to be a small check mark that comes in up in the top right-hand corner of that screen, of this menu here. So just look for those, or it might be blue when you can activate it and green when you can turn it in. Don't quote me on that. But all you'll go in is you'll click on them, you'll go to tasks, and you will see it basically available. I should go show you one that I have one. But really quick, you come here, you just click on it, you'll be able to accept it like normal, and it will start your timer. So again, I've got to finish this up and try to get this one done because I want my 50,000 experience. I will quickly show you that with Therapist, it does show under completed. And you got a little bit of an UI change here to see which daily ones you've completed as well, which is pretty cool. So again, this one, Survive Shoreline. I got 43,000 experience, a whole mess of rubles, a couple of AFACs, which are actually pretty solid items, certainly usable. Ram and some pliers, so nothing too crazy. And then here, eliminate scabs from distance of more than 50 meters. I had to do 8. I had to do it on woods, which was interesting, but a good map. And I got 57,000 experience. And 182,000 rubles, a couple of keys, which, it is what it is. You may or may not need them. I don't know. But the nice part is all of this stuff looks like it is, again, personalized to your account and going to line up with you as a player and your level, which is pretty dang cool. So get out there, do some tasks. That's what we've got. That's what we've got for the update. A big one. There were a couple of bugs. Bitcoin Farm was having some trouble. That looks like that has been adjusted. But keep your eye on that and a few other things. Let's jump over. I have one screenshot to share and then a couple of items of discussion from the podcast, and we'll wrap this one up. All right, so this was a screenshot teased early on Saturday, which there's a lot of speculation. We certainly don't know. My guess is, and I think a lot of the community's guess is, that this is going to be a location as part of the Lighthouse map. Now, here's the interesting thing, and I'm going to tie in a couple of things from the podcast, just some of the highlights that I had. You can go check it out. It was over on Battle State Games Twitch. You can go check the VOD out and watch the whole thing. I think some good questions Scott asked, specific to tasks, which I think was pretty cool. We covered most of that. Again, it's the first iteration, so it's going to change. I know I said that earlier, but it's pretty cool. I anticipate weeklies and some other neat things happening. In addition, there is going to be a very special Halloween event. So I think they've gotten really good at doing some of these weekend events, which is pretty cool. There's actually one going on right now in game. If you don't have level 4 Ragman, I don't believe you saw this. But all the fabrics are selling expensively or something. So ripstock, Bordura, fleece. If you get your hands on them, check them out. Maybe sell them to Ragman. You might make yourself a little bit of money. But very special Halloween event coming up. They've been really good with those. So anticipate something cool happening for that. They talked about the pumpkin heads, like helmet, which those things are freaky and awesome. So I do hope they bring those back. I think that's a fan favorite for a lot of us. With all that said, I'm sorry, I drank a lot of soda today. There's a lot of speculation, again, that this is some type of power plant, hydro dam type thing, which is going to be part of Lighthouse. They did not get into any specifics as far as time frame, but it sounds like Nikita is very much aligned to trying to get Lighthouse done before the end of the year. They stayed pretty firm to that. In addition, there was a discussion that daily tasks were going to come basically with a wipe, and they dropped them early, which is, I wouldn't say necessarily confirmation, but it definitely sounds like probably with Lighthouse and some of those things that there's a good chance that we will get a wipe. My anticipation would be right at near the end of the year. Nice little Christmas present. New map, Scar, I think is planned to be coming with Lighthouse as well. And that would be a good time just to kind of reset these things, reset and kind of let some of the course of action run with both daily tasks, changes to the flea market, Kappa, all those different things going on at the same time. This is actually pretty cool. I did not anticipate a location like this in Lighthouse, but I think having some of these different type building setups, this obviously provides some good opportunity for some different loot. I imagine there's going to be a lot of toolboxes, tool crates, those different kinds of things in here. Maybe some side offices, near the front or the back. Maybe some vantage points. I don't know if you're going to be able to get up onto here, for instance. I don't think so, but would be pretty interesting to see. Be able to peek out these windows a little bit. But I do like this. I think this is a neat location. Got a little bit of a labs / power station vibe for me, which is really neat, and I like that. So let me know what your thoughts are. I think this is going to be pretty cool. I'm very, very excited for Lighthouse, very, very excited, and I can't wait. Daily tasks is nice, update kind of holdover type content. I think that's going to get people re-engaged to get back into the game, and I'm just hoping Lighthouse follows up very, very quickly, because with a wipe, I think those two things will skyrocket Escape from Tarkov back into the territory it's been at for a little while, prior to really a couple of months ago. I think after this wipe, with not a lot of new content coming with the wipe, I think we're on a little bit of a downtrend, but I think those two things in combination will bring a ton of players back. During the podcast, they did talk about a couple of things. So Streets is going to be basically the last map released prior to the full game release. They are saying that they are very hopeful that they can put out a time frame sometime next year of when the full game is going to go to release. There is a couple of other maps that you've seen they're very excited about. They talked about doing some snow or a snow map. There's a couple other maps that they have pushed basically to DLCs, which we've known for a little while, but it was good confirmation. They also spent some time talking about Arenas mode, which is very much in the works. They have a smaller team doing that. It is going to both be PvP option as well as a PvE option, which I think is kind of interesting. So that will be kind of unique. They said it would be a good way to get in with your squad, test some things out, try some things, get some of your tactics down, maybe try some of your weapons. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to that. I think a lot of this game obviously focuses on the PvP. A lot of people are excited for Arena 4 PvP, which is certainly going to be there. But I think giving another option where you can go in and do a little bit something different and test some things out is going to be really good. Other than that, a couple other things were discussed through the podcast. One of the big highlights that I also took from it was that launchers are certainly coming to the game. Nikita specifically talked about the RPG, that it's basically the whole thing has been modeled. They just have to work through the animations and some of the ballistics. Speaking of ballistics, they do intend next year, I believe, or with an upcoming patch, to really rework all of the ballistics in the game. They didn't talk specifically about pen and damage. They talked about flight path and just aligning it better to, we'll call kind of like real life, is kind of the gist that I got from it. So that will be an interesting one, continue to keep us on our feet. They talked a little bit about inertia as well, but didn't spend too much time talking about that. And so we've got some really cool things coming up. Nikita also did kind of, during the conversation, talk about, that full release time frame, that basically they're just trying to get to a point where they feel like they can run forward with a full release and then obviously bring DLC after that. And we knew that was coming. In addition to that, EOD, they didn't specifically mention this, but I would be on a lookout if you're thinking about upgrading or you're thinking about purchasing it. You may want to do it sooner rather than later, because I anticipate that at some point in the near future, not near, not soon, but probably soon, that EOD is eventually going to get turned off. And If you have it, you still keep it, but if you've been thinking about upgrading, that is something that they have said that they are going to basically turn that off because it does come with all the DLCs. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about that. I had this discussion with a couple of folks yesterday about what full game release looks like, and my understanding is that they've obviously got to go and get to a position where all the mechanics of the game work correctly. I think that's the biggest thing. It's easy to bring maps, it's easy to bring new guns, and maybe to a certain extent some new features, but a lot of the core mechanics of the game have to really get worked out and be outlined. So we'll see what that looks like, but hopefully they can get there. The last thing that I think is important to touch on really quick is weapon malfunctions. They talked about, and they're looking to adjust this, I think, but weapons that are at 100% to somewhere between 90 and 95% total durability are not going to have any weapon malfunctions at all. They said that they wanted that. They got a lot of feedback on that system. There are more weapon malfunctions, as we've heard, coming in the future. So different types of weapon malfunctions, stovepiping, and all the other different kinds of stuff that can happen, double feeds and some craziness. But they said specifically that they wanted to adjust that. A lot of player feedback is it didn't make sense why guns that were perfect, brand new, would be having those types of weapon malfunctions. That's not necessarily aligned to real life, but I like this change. And I think that is a good change in order to allow for different weapon malfunctions as we get in. I also am a personal fan and think that different types of weapon malfunctions, easier ones to clear and harder ones to clear, should be aligned more closely to durability. So maybe you have a stovepipe on something that's in a better condition because that's a pretty easy thing to clear for the most part, but like something like a double feed should be in a durability weapon that is probably on the lower end. That makes sense to me, but we'll see how they end up implementing it. They did also, with that, talk about that pistols and secondaries, that they're going to look at basically draw speed for those things, especially when it comes to using comes to the instance of having a weapon malfunction. It was a great idea that got brought up. If you have a weapon malfunction, instead of trying to clear it, you just swap to your secondary. That should be something that happens pretty fast. Throw your weapon on a sling to the side and pull your pistol out. I like that change, and we'll see if they can do something to implement that. But that was just some of the general discussion. So a longer episode than I anticipated, so I do apologize for that. But I wanted to cover a lot. I wanted to share this. I want to share what we knew about daily tasks up to this point, and hope you're very excited for them, because I know I am with the current XP rewards. Get in, run some raids, get some things done, grind that level a little bit if you're looking to do that, or maybe you're getting close to getting to level 42 for your traders. Hopefully all of these things help you make that progression step and can go a little bit farther this wipe with probably a little bit of time left before we see what happens. Really excited for Lighthouse, excited to think and hear your thoughts on what this looks like and what you think this might be. Again, I think it's some kind of power plant. That's probably pretty obvious, but yeah, curious. And a lot of news, a lot of excitement right now. Kind of some extra buzz in the Tarkov community, which we haven't had for a while. So that feels really nice. We'll wrap this one up. Doc, Average Gamer, guys. Quick plug here, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below on daily tasks, all the other stuff that we talked about. The podcast, if you had a chance to listen in and watch it, what your thoughts are. If there's any major stuff I missed, throw that down below as well. Help this video with all of the good info and goodies that we've got. In addition, we do stream Fridays and Saturdays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. By the time you see this, you won't be able to catch me, but catch me next weekend. And we do randomly stream throughout the week over on Twitch. That link is in the description. We've got a Twitter. We've got a Discord. Discord, if you want to stay up to date with the channel, news, all that other kind of cool stuff, give us a follow over there and stay tuned in, as well as find some folks to run some raids, play some other games, and see what happens there. That will close it. Doc, Average Gamer, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next Escape from Tarkov video. Peace.